Hey, happy Tuesday. So I'm behind schedule and I didn't have an author interview to post today. And there's a story that's in my book, Sisters in Pieces, that is better read aloud than read. And so that's what you get today in place of the blog. This story is called Johnny Heartburn. People say I'm bubbly, but I never know if that's a compliment or a diss. Teachers don't appreciate it. Like in 4th grade, Mrs. Brown, the meanest teacher ever, told Mom I needed to take pills to calm me down, and Mom yelled at her and turned red and called Mrs. Brown a flat person and said a good teacher would never squash a child's enthusiasm for life with drugs, and that was the end of Cedar Hills Elementary and Mrs. Brown. And now I go to Baltic Elementary across town, although Mom has to drive every day and pick me up every day. But it's really a good thing because that's where I met JoJo, who's my best friend, and that's where I first saw Johnny Dreamboat. Well, his name is really Johnny O'Donnell, but JoJo and I think he's dreamy to look at, so we call him Johnny Dreamboat. And when I told Mom about Johnny, she said, "Watch your heart, Sarah." But I don't know what she meant by that, because my heart is just fine. Not like Judith Gray in my 1st grade class, who never got to run around at recess and had really white skin, and the kids called her a ghost. But I never did, because her mom brought treats to school all the time, like those really big cupcakes with sprinkles and homemade frosting, and I wanted to be the one Judith picked to help pass them out. But anyway, when I told Mom and Dad about the dance and Dad didn't want me to go, he said, "Calliope, she's only 12. And Mom hates it when he uses her whole name, because when she was a kid, other kids teased her and said, "Callie, go pee." And that is why she named us Sarah and Ricky and Jenny and Tommy. But I don't think 12 is so young. And Mom doesn't either, because she said, "Dave, it's not a wedding." But I didn't really know what that meant, because people do dance at weddings, even little kids and old grandmas and everyone. And when we went to one of Aunt Phoebe's weddings, we got to take off our shoes because there was a shiny wooden floor and it was good for running and sliding. But that's little kid stuff, and I knew I wouldn't do that at the 6th grade sock hop. But later on I found out that's why it's called a sock hop. And we did take off our shoes. Anyway, I went with JoJo, and we went to her house first to get ready, because the other thing about a sock hop is you're supposed to dress old-fashioned, like our grandmothers or something from a long time ago. So her mom took us shopping at the thrift store, because my mom was busy with one of Ricky's sports things, or maybe it was Tommy, because he was in baby soccer, and she couldn't just drop him off at the park. The parents had to stay because the kindergartners cried and got hurt and needed drinks all the time. And anyway, JoJo and me, we picked out cute sweaters and socks to match, and we put on lipstick. But when JoJo's mom saw it, she said if we're going to wear lipstick, it couldn't be black. So she found some old pale pink stuff, and it hardly showed at all. It felt funny, and I kept licking my lips when I went into the cafeteria, which is where they had the dance. But it was all decorated, so it didn't even look like the cafeteria at all. Well, except for the folding chairs, which we use for assemblies. Only they were around the edges of the room, and the lunch tables were all folded up and covered with pictures of records and sodas and other things that were from the old days. But they still had the lights on, so it didn't look that great. But Mrs. Connors said the 6th grade was too young for dim lights, and we had to keep it lit. JoJo said it was so no one went in the corner and kissed. But then I saw Johnny, and I licked my lips a lot, so I don't think there was even any lipstick left on them. And I told myself to stop, or I would get that stupid red chapped line above my lip. And then Johnny came over and asked me to dance, and so I went out into the middle with him. And there wasn't too many kids dancing yet, and all of a sudden I couldn't move. And Johnny said, "What's wrong?" And my tongue was all fat and big and frozen, and my lips wouldn't move. And then my feet wouldn't move either. And then JoJo shoved me from behind, and I crashed into Johnny. And he held my hand and said, "Let's go sit down for a while." And we did, and he was so nice, and he talked to me real nice. But my tongue was still a big fat toad in my mouth. And then I started sweating, and Johnny's lips were moving, and I couldn't hear anything, and then everything went black. The thing is, Mom says fainting runs in our family, and it's something about all the women having low blood pressure. So when we get stressed, it goes even lower and no blood goes to your brain. And then you pass out and everything goes black. And if you're somewhere dangerous, you might hit your head or knock your teeth out. But Jojo says I just turned really, really white and slid to the floor. So maybe I do have a heart problem, because ever since that night, my stomach burns whenever I see Johnny. And Grandma Jean says women who are having a heart attack think they're just having heartburn, which is really stomach burn and not your heart at all. And then their heart explodes and they die if they don't take baby aspirin right away. So I looked through the medicine cabinet and I found some aspirin. It said take 2 every 6 hours, and I took it all week. But my heart still hurts. Thank you.